My name is Lina Takahashi, and this is my podcast about homeless youth in Boulder. Imagine yourself as a teenager who just finished a long day of school. Where do you go now? The answer may be simple for you. Go home, say hi to your parents, grab a snack, and go on with your day. Though this may seem normal for many of us, some people have a very different situation. Now, imagine yourself as a teenager who just finished a long day of school and you have nowhere to go. Your parents have kicked you out of your house, or your home is an environment where you no longer feel safe or welcome. You need to figure out what to eat for dinner and where you're going to sleep tonight. Can you imagine that being you? On any given night, there are over 168 youth between the ages of 12 and 24 in Boulder County who are homeless. Many of these youth end up on the streets for various reasons and have nowhere to go. Attention Homes is a nonprofit organization that provides services for youth in crisis in Boulder. They provide shelter, food, clothing, life skills, educational activities, and other access to crucial services. Their hope is that these youth will one day become stable, independent members of the community and reach their full potential. Attention Homes was first created in 1966 by concerned citizens in Boulder in hopes to provide attention, not detention, to homeless and displaced youth who did not have a safe environment they could go to. Claire Clerman, the executive director of Attention Homes, explained how this organization was created. Along with the Sunday school group Horace Budd Holmes, a judge working as part of the Family and Children's Division, and a chief probation officer, John Hargendine, wanted to find ways to keep youth on the streets from going to juvenile detention centers.
And so they worked with this adult Sunday school group to figure out what some solutions might be. And what they came up with was housing young people in a residential home, in a residential community, and have it staffed with house parents, and that those young people, in being removed from home, could work on behavioral issues. A lot of times the issues weren't with the young person, but really with what was going on at home or with their parents. And so they were given an opportunity to have boundaries, create structure in their life, have goals that they would set, and over time, learn how to live a more healthy, responsible life.
To this day, Attention Homes serves homeless youth in the Boulder community with the motto of providing attention, not detention. And their vision is to create, quote, a world in which every young person has a safe place to live and the attention they need. They have served over 9,000 youth and continue to help change the lives of homeless and displaced youths every single day. They have seen children coming from all different situations, and there is no single cause of homelessness in youth, but many factors contribute to it, such as poverty, mental illness, rejection, or just an overall unsafe environment.
I would say 100% of the youth we serve have trauma histories, and by that I mean there was some form of abuse and neglect, whether it was verbal, mental, sexual. All of our youth have been impacted by trauma. We also see young people who have lived in poverty, especially those who are 17, 18. It's been a struggle for their families, and so a lot of times a young person will turn 18. If it's been difficult for the family, they may say it's time for you to move on, or there may be stress and dysfunction. And so we often say poverty can cause homelessness. Either the family is homeless or the young people have left. Another reason is is young people that we see who are part of the LGBTQ community. Between 25 and 30% of the homeless population identify as LGBTQ. Their reason for being homeless is really rejection, not being accepted by their families. And so that's a fairly large percentage of who we see. And we're actually seeing more transgendered youth than we are seeing youth who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual.
There are many stigmas around homeless youth all over the world. The term homeless has a negative connotation for most people and often come with a feeling of fear and the idea that all homeless people are dangerous drug addicts who people should stay away from. Homeless youth especially have a stigma that they have a drug or substance abuse problem, which Claire Clerman denies.
Where a lot of people think, well, every homeless youth you see is addicted to drugs, it's actually not true. 19% of the young people we serve in our Runaway and Homeless Youth program identify substance use as a barrier in their life that they need help with. For so many, they've experienced drug use in the home, friends, family, lost loved ones. And so it's really a misnomer to think that all homeless youth have drug addictions. Some do. Certainly many use marijuana, but it's not an addiction and it's not necessarily a barrier in their life. But certainly we have young people whose homes have been destroyed because of drugs and alcohol, and mental health issues as well.
While many people believe that youth on the streets are addicted to drugs, it is actually not the case. Lily Seeger, an Attention Homes volunteer, had a different perspective of homeless youth after working more closely with them throughout her high school years.
A lot of times people think they are on the streets by their choice, and sometimes that is the case. But a lot of the times it's because they've been kicked out by their parents, which surprised me because it's just like unimaginable if that's not your own situation. So that's really surprising, and it kind of broke up the stereotype in my mind of the fact that you think that homeless youth kind of just end up there on their own because they are youth. And also just it kind of breeded compassion in me. Like, that's not anything that you or I would ever have to experience, like, choice by our own choice, So it just is a situation that you wouldn't be exposed to unless you chose to be exposed to it.
So what is something that we as a community can do to help out homeless and at-risk youth? What can we as CU students and people who live in Boulder do to help make a difference in the lives of youth our age and youth who are younger than us who don't have a home?
Once I realized that a lot of the people that they were caring for and serving were my peers was really like a turning point in my thoughts and how I thought about youth homelessness. And also I would encourage anybody who can to get involved in however much they could, because they're always so appreciative for just the littlest things, like helping make goodie bags for fundraisers or actually volunteering making meals, like even the smallest things help. So yes, that. And then also just to be compassionate, because it's so prevalent in Boulder to see homeless youth that are our age sitting in the street. And the vast majority of Boulder is educated and very privileged, So it's just a big contrast, which isn't bad, but just to realize that it's a different situation for those kind of people that don't physically have a home, and that if we do, why not do whatever we can to help them, even in the littlest way.
Even in a privileged community like Boulder, there are problems within it that people don't know exist. Recognizing that homelessness in youth is a problem is the first step to coming closer to a world in which one day no youth will have to sleep on the streets. Being compassionate and aware of the ways in which you can help can change the lives of those in need.